welcome to the 2002 edition of WGBH? No.
CTV, it's okay.
WCTV Organization Night. Time for practice. Welcoming organizations throughout the town who will have an opportunity to speak about their goals and areas of interest. And we'll be spending some time with you. I am Rosemary Greco, and my co-host will be Rob Carbone. You'll meet him in a few moments. First, I'd like to introduce our first guest, Donna Wayman, and she is representing the Rotary Club from Wilmington. Good evening, Donna.
Good evening. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's nice to have you here.
Thank you.
You want to talk about your organization and some areas of interest?
Sure. Actually, one of our biggest fundraisers is coming up shortly. That will be coming up in November, and that's the annual auction. And we have that takes place on November 21st and 22nd. That's Thursday night the 21st, and we're live right here from WCTV. We have the auction right here in the studio. Mm-hmm. We also have a supplement, and the supplement it runs in the town crier the week before the auction. And then on Friday night, we follow it up with a live auction at the Knights of Columbus. And then we end that evening with a raffle, which drawing, and the first prize is $10,000. And this money here that we end up making is our largest fundraiser, and it goes to support a lot of the projects that we do in the community. And one of the things, I don't know if people have noticed, the new fountain down at Wilmington Rotary Park. That was one of the things that we just finished up just a short time ago.
I have noticed the fountain, and I've noticed some of your other contributions around town through the years, notably scholarships that you give to high school students. Are they just for Wilmington High School graduates, or do you support Wilmington students who are at schools out of town?
No, they are not just for Wilmington High School students. They are for Wilmington graduating residents. So it doesn't have to be Wilmington High School. As a matter of fact, we've had many scholarship recipients that have been from Shawsheen Tech and a lot of the other private schools.
Mm-hmm. Donna, you're talking a lot about your fundraising. Your organization meets on a regular basis here in town?
Yes, we do. We meet every Wednesday at 12:15 at Fakasha's restaurant.
Mm-hmm. And your membership is comprised of?
We have actually a lot of different business owners and managers of different companies throughout the town, so we have a very good blend of business people.
Well, that sounds very good. Are there any other items you want to bring up tonight?
The other thing we have coming up also in November is our pancake breakfast on Thanksgiving morning. This year the football game is home, so we'll be doing the pancake breakfast, and that'll be from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. The morning before the game.
And where will that be held?
Wilmington High School.
I kind of thought so.
Yeah.
Okay, Donna, thank you for your time, and thanks for coming.
Thank you very much.
Good night.
Good night.
Good evening, Wilmington. How's everyone doing? My first guest tonight is Christina Hill from the Woburn Street Parent Advisory Council, also known as the PAC. I'm actually a alumnus of the Woburn Street School, as a matter of fact, many years ago. But how are you doing tonight?
Great, thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Now, is there anything you'd like to tell us about the Woburn Street PAC?
Yes, they're hosting the Woburn Street Fair on October 19, and these are some of the events that are happening.
Let me help you with that.
Sure, at the fair. So I hope that everybody can join in the fair. We're accepting donations for the country store, for the raffle table. We have a lot of things so far, many great things. I can tell you what some of those are. We have Celtics tickets. We have a skateboard, a scooter, outdoor lighting, computer software, home interior products, a facial massage therapy, American Girl doll, restaurant certificates, youth jacket from Custom Stitch, and we have going to have a nice game room, and it's going to be set up by Just for Fun, which is another organization right here in town. It's one of the stores, and they're going to provide a moonwalk, a slide, 2 cotton candy machines, a spin art, a pumpkin ring toss, and a Halloween beanbag toss. The kids are going to love the games.
I think they will. Now, wasn't it the 25th anniversary of the Pumpkin Fair?
Yes, it is. Thank you for asking.
Yep, I remember going back there as a kid and candy apples and everything. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about your organization?
It's really to benefit the children at the Woburn Street School. This is, again, our major fundraiser. And it benefits the classrooms and the teachers and the children. It enriches the education.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you very much. Any closing comments or anything? Or-
No, thank you for inviting me.
Hey, never a problem. That's what we're here for. All right. You have a great night, Christina. It's a pleasure meeting you.
You too.
Thank you.
It's nice to see you, Eileen.
Hi, how you doing?
Fine. Will you introduce yourself, please?
Sure, I'm Eileen McDougall, and I am the president of the Friends of the Wilmington Memorial Library, and this is Terry McDermott, who's our publicity chairperson.
Welcome, welcome.
Thanks.
It's nice to have you here tonight. I know there's many things that you'd like to talk about that are coming up for your calendar year, so why don't you take a moment and go forward?
Okay, well, let me tell you a little bit about the Friends first, and then Terry's going to talk about the upcoming programs. The Friends is an organization that's about 340 members strong now, and we work for the benefit of the library and the support of the library staff. We have a big fundraiser, a book sale every year, and we use that to raise funds for the library. We have provided the outside media drop so people can return their tapes and DVDs without having to go into the library. We've bought couches for the children's room and the young adult room. We've bought computers. So our general purpose is to support the library in every way that we can, and especially a new library, which we weren't successful at, but we're going to keep plugging away on.
So your group supports the library through funds and also with your skills and influence, don't you?
Yes,
So.
and we also are very interested in funding both children and adult programs. We provide basically a grant to the children's department every summer for children's summer programming. We pay for some of the museum passes, specifically the Roger Williams Zoo in Providence, Rhode Island. And this year we have a very, very exciting roster of adult programs coming up, which Terry can talk about.
Yes. Terry, I'm going to put this mic a little bit closer to you.
Okay. Hi. Yes, Barbara Hooper, she's our program chair, and she's been working with the library staff. We have some great programs coming up this year. October 7th, it's the most coming up soonest, is an art program. We're going to have a little wine and cheese party, and we're going to talk to some artists who are going to tell us about their work, how they produce it, and what their lifestyle is. On October 23rd, we have a program about famous Wilmington families. We're going to have different people from town talk about notable families in the area, people that we might have read about in the history books. And on November 18th, we have Jay Atkinson. He's the author of Ice Time, a book about a hockey coach and player from Stoneham. And that's just in the fall. We have a lot more programs coming in the winter and spring as well.
That sounds great. You mentioned the artists are coming in October. Do you mean artists who paint and sketch, et cetera?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I believe there's 3 different artists who are going to be making presentations. I think they all work in watercolors, and we'll talk about that. I believe one of them also will do a demonstration or show some of her pen and ink drawings, and they'll talk a little bit about how they do what they do.
That sounds great. Very, very interesting. Always a good program at your library. Enjoy it all the time.
Thank you.
Anything else tonight, Eileen?
I just wanted to mention that coming up next year, we're going to have a program for our readers of romance novels who feel sadly neglected sometimes. We're going to bring some romance authors in, which we've never done before. And we're going to have David Crew, who's done 3 programs for us, do a presentation on Charles Ponzi, the originator of the Ponzi scheme. So that should be very interesting.
Should be very interesting. It was nice having you here tonight.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
All right, excellent. My next guest is Kathleen Black Reynolds from the Hardin Tavern Museum. How are you doing tonight?
I'm well, thank you.
Pleased to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And what can you tell us about the Hardin Tavern Museum?
Well, it's been a house museum for about 25 years now, or 27 years. It's been a town museum for about 3 years. We're currently in our 3rd year, and we're meshing the house museum and the town museum together, and I think we're doing a pretty good job. We have rotating exhibits on pretty much a quarterly basis. We have programs every now and then that highlight either a family or an event in Wilmington from time to time. And at the same time, we have period rooms going on in the house. We have about 4 period rooms that we like to show off. We have a Victorian parlor, a tavern room, an 1850 kitchen or keeping room, and a master bedroom in the period of 1850 as well.
Excellent, excellent. So what sort of exhibits besides the actual period rooms do you have at the Hardin Tavern?
Right now we have an antique toy exhibit which showcases toys from the early 20th century. a very nice display. We currently have an exhibit highlighting the Roberts family here in Wilmington that built the Roberts estate out there on Route 62. It's the Boulders house. A lot of people know it just from appearance, so we had an exhibit for that. Currently, we're working on having an exhibit on Mrs. Hiller and her family, and perhaps tying that in with a cranberry exhibit, because as you know, Wilmington being as rural as it has been historically, cranberry bogs are very plentiful here in Wilmington, so I'd like to showcase the cranberry bogs.
Quite excellent, quite excellent. Now, are there any social events? I know you have like a strawberry shortcake social and...
Yeah, in
Yep.
the spring we have the Friends of the Herndon Tavern, who are the fundraising group for the Town Museum and the Herndon Tavern. Every spring they usually have a strawberry social, which is very popular, and of course in Christmas time they have their Christmas social, which this year will be Sunday, December 1st from 1 to 4 p.m. And that's a wonderful event, and a lot of people, I think, have been to that. I don't know if there's anybody in Wilmington who hasn't been there, but if they haven't, they should definitely come down and see the house in its splendor. I mean, it's beautifully decorated, fresh greens, candlelit, wonderful smells, and just really, really well done. The Friends do a great job. So looking forward to that this year.
Excellent. Now, what are the hours of the Herndon Tavern Museum?
Currently, we're open to the public. We open Monday afternoons from 4 to 6, Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays from 11 to 2, the first Sunday of every month from 2 to 4, and by appointment.
Excellent, excellent. Any further closing comments or anything?
Sure. We are planning to have our open house in October and November, so the first Sundays of those months from 2 to 4 p.m. November 3rd, we're having Jocelyn, who's an intuitive consultant, come, and she's going to give sort of like a ghost walk of the tavern and sort of go through and explore the ghosts of the families that live there. And, you know, if interested patrons are interested in having their own little spiritual history trace, maybe she can do something for them as well.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, I have to admit. Well, thank you very much, and thanks for keeping Wilmington history alive.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Have a great evening.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our next guests are from the Merrimack Valley Chorus of the Sweet Adelines International. And I'd like to introduce you to Ann Donahoe and Tracy Peterson. Ann, would you like to give us some background about your organization?
Yes, my chorus is the Merrimack Valley chapter of Sweet Adelines, and Sweet Adelines is an international organization. It started in 1945 down in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and it spread throughout the country, and recently we've spread throughout the world, given us the international name. We have choruses that sing 4-part barbershop harmony in Australia, New Zealand, as far away as Japan, the UK, everywhere. We are truly harmonizing the world.
Mm-hmm. Do you exchange with each other? Do you go to visit each other's chapters and perhaps join in the fun?
Well, when we have international meetings, I went to an international meeting down in South Carolina, and I met a lot of lovely ladies from New Zealand and the UK, and they had a quartet of young ladies from Japan. It was really quite wonderful.
Sounds really interesting. Do you get to sing the same songs each group? Are you organized in that way?
Well, there are standard barbershop arrangements. There's a multitude of different types of songs, all kinds of different genres of music. We're not stuck in a particular style. We can do swing, we can do modern music, we can do old-time ballads, we can do a number of things, show tunes, and it's written in a 4-part barbershop style, and that's what makes us unique.
I see. Tracy, do you have something you'd like to add right now?
I've been with the Merrimack Valley Chorus for about 2 years. They're based right here in Wilmington, which is wonderful. Rehearsals are on Thursday nights from 7:30 to approximately 10:30, right at the Arts Council building on Middlesex Avenue. And that was one of the things that attracted me to joining, was that it was local, it was musical. Music has been a part of my life, all my life, so I've been very fortunate to have that. And this is a wonderful, very wonderful group of gals. And as Ann explained, it's 4-part harmonizing, all voices. There are no instruments. The voices are the instruments in the chorus. And what Ann helps us do is she helps us to make our sound better. And we work on material and on choreography, and we do shows and benefits. And we just did something in Tewksbury recently on September 11th, and we have another show coming up in October.
And where will that be? And you have details on that?
Yes, I do. Our annual show is called The Road to Harmony. Our featured group is called the Yankee Stompers, and they're a great Dixieland jazz band. So if you like that kind of upbeat music, this is for you. We'll feature our chapter quartets, and it's going to be at the Doherty Middle School in Andover at 7:30 on October 26th. And if you have any, want some contact information, you can call Barbara at 978-256-7523, or you can contact us through our internet. We have a website called MerrimackValleyChorus.com.
Excellent. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Well, okay, my next two guests are Susan Durante and Jim Buckley from the Wilmington Lions Club. I'd like to welcome both of you.
Thank you, Rob.
You doing, Rob?
Good, I'm good, good. Yep, it's definitely a great night tonight. Let's just start off, Mrs. Durante, what can you tell us about the history of the Lions Club?
Rob, thank you, first of all, for inviting us back again this year. And I'm excited about the Lions Club. We have been in Wilmington since 1954 when we were chartered. But prior to that time, Lions came into being in 1917 by a local Chicago businessman named Melvin Jones, who thought if he could get some local business people together, he could do much more as a group for humanity, for mankind, than he could alone. And that's when it started. And the exciting turn of the Lions Club International happened in 1954 when Helen Keller was asked to come to a convention. At that point, Helen Keller charged our organization with the vision responsibility, and that is why since that time we've been concentrating on vision, on eye research, on all sorts of eye-related activities in the charitable event. So basically that's how we started, that's who we are, and in 1954 Wilmington chartered the Lions Club, and one of our founding members was Cy Cutter, who unfortunately you all know recently passed away. And I think Jim would like to maybe talk a little bit about Cy because he's been in Lions a lot longer than I have. Jim?
Right. Cy was definitely an integral part of our Lions Club. As Sue said, he was a charter member and recently passed away. What I'd like to do, what Cy's family has requested, is that we establish a scholarship in Cy's name this year. And as his son Richard alluded to in his eulogy, he said Cy was a very practical man and a lot of common sense. And he showed that at the Lions Club's meeting. Anytime we had a major problem or a small problem, Cy was always the man to stand up and put us on the right track. Being a lawyer, you had to be a practical man. You have to have common sense, and most of your answers do come from common sense, and Cy was definitely there to do that. So what we plan on doing this year is, as I said, we're going to establish a scholarship at the high school, and if you're interested in helping us out, you may send your contributions to the Wilmington Lions Club, care of Tom Pizzara, 447 Middlesex Ave, Wilmington, Mass. 01887. Again, that's Tom Pizzara, 447 Middlesex Ave, Wilmington, Mass. 01887. And we'll miss you, Cy.
I just wanted to add that, yes, Cy was a very integral part of every single meeting. And interesting enough, he started every meeting with our prayer. So he's going to be missed specifically at the very next meeting, and from here on in, we miss him greatly. And this scholarship will be in his memory.
Excellent. That's really good they have a scholarship for him. And I send my condolences to Cy Cutter's family. I have a question. How would one become a member of the Lions Club?
Okay, we meet the first and the third Wednesday of every month, and we meet at the Hillview Country Club. Now, a person could come to our meeting. He or she has to be sponsored. I do say he or she because there are 2 women members. For many years it was just one, me, but now we have 2, but we'd love to have more women as well, and of course we'd love to have more members, period. They may call us, they may call our president. Tom Pizzara is the president, he's in the book. I'm in the book, Susan Durante, Jim Buckley is in the book. If you'd like to call first, get information, we'd very much like to have you join us, at least even come for an informational reason, just to see what goes on at our meetings, how much we accomplish, and we would give you some more history.
I'd like to add to that. I think a better question is, why would you want to become a member of the Lions Club? Now, Number one, we're not a fraternal organization. We have no secret installation or anything. When you come down to our meeting, what you see is what you get. You might end up being the president the first year or an officer. That's how informal we are. We're a low-key service organization. You are not required to attend weekly meetings. We meet, as Sue said, twice a month. And if you can't make the meeting, that's all right. We're trying to attract people who work out of town for the reason, if you work in town, if you are a businessman, obviously you'd be inclined to join a Rotary Club. We're looking for people who are out of town who can spare 2 nights a month to attend our meetings. We have realistic goals that we set for the year. We are not, you don't have to be out 5 nights a week. We try to work around everybody's schedule. We're trying to allow you to manage your time so you can join the service club. I know it's very hard nowadays with the wives working and the husbands working and the kids, what they get going on home. It's very hard to join a club, but that's why we're trying to keep it real low-key. So there again, if you're interested in joining the Lions Club, my number is 658-6640, and Susan is 658...
658-9734. Basically, our motto that we start every meeting off with is, we serve. And it's very simple. The reason I joined and the reason we hope that you would join is time to give back to the community. As a group, we can accomplish a lot more than we can individually, and that's what we see. We're a very small group, but yet we're still meeting the goals that we met 10 years ago when our membership was probably 4 times as much. We still can do it because we're together, and we'd love to have you join us. I think, Rob, if it's okay, Jim would like to mention some of the upcoming events coming, if we could have a few more moments.
That'd be great. I think we can afford it.
We'll take somebody else's time. They don't mind. October 13th, we're going to Foxwood. So if you'd like to take your roller quarters, we are sponsoring a trip to Foxwood. We'll be leaving from Uptown Delhi at 7 a.m. and we'll be back in Wilmington at 6 p.m. The cost is $25. Well, if you think about that, when you get down to Foxwood, the buffet is free. There's other tickets they give you for like Keno and match play, etc. So basically, it doesn't cost you anything. The buffet at Foxwood is excellent if you haven't been there before. Oh, and there's coffee. Okay, we start the day with coffee and donuts. We get on a bus. We play bingo on the way down. On the way back, we show a first run movie. My God, all that for $25? I think we should go up. But it is $25, and there again, if you're interested, call me at 658-4151. The other event, which is very important, especially to the parents, we do this every year. We're doing our live Santa Claus from WCTV studio. And this year, that's going to be on Saturday, December 7th. It's going to be live from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So there again, put that on your calendar. Every year, the parents say they don't find out about it until it's all over. Well, here we are on this high-profile TV station in September, so put that on your calendar.
What do they have to bring, Jim?
Oh, and also bring down some canned goods for the Wilmington Food Pantry. We do that every year. Bring down a canned good, and we'll bring it upstairs to Wilmington Community Fund.
Jim, do you think they'll take a picture there?
You running the show?
Yeah,
And also, yeah, we do. We take a picture of the child on Santa's lap, and you can take that home with you.
Anything else? Anything else, Mrs. Durante?
I think we covered everything. We really, again, want to thank you, WCTV, for having us here.
No problem at all. You did a great job emceeing. I'm just kidding. All right, have a great evening. Yeah, yep, exactly. You guys have a great evening, and yeah, don't forget about Santa Claus coming to WCTV. You can watch it live and come on down. It's always a good time. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Well, following an introduction of Santa coming to town is always going to be a different role. So it's my chance now to introduce you to members of the Order of the Eastern Star, Acacia Chapter number 80. And I'd like to introduce you to Janet Thompson, Worthy Matron, and Laura Fowler, Associate Matron. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Janet, do you want to share some information?
Sure. The Order of Eastern Star, we were founded 100 years ago. We're celebrating our 100th anniversary this year. We first met at Ames Hall in Wilmington, and then went on to the Wilmington Masonic Lodge, where we met for a great number of years, and we still do a lot of work there, serving the Masons' dinners and things like that. Right now we are located also in Tewksbury. We meet at the Masonic Hall there on Victor Drive in Tewksbury. Our organization has 18 officers. I'm the worthy matron. Laura is the associate matron. We have a worthy patron. It's for both men and women, and within a Masonic affiliation. But we're open to everyone. We do lots of fundraisers, and we also are big on the muscular dystrophy, women's breast cancer. We have the Shriners Crippled Children that we often do fundraisers for, as well as the Burn Center.
Sounds like you have a very full calendar. Laura, does your role mean that you back up Janet, or do you have independent duties?
I definitely back up Janet, but we're there for each other, and we've become good friends through the organization. That's what we've found also, that you meet new people and forge friendships that you might not have found. And it's a very nice organization that way, too.
How do people become members of your organization?
They would fill out an application, and as long as they have the Masonic affiliation, we would then bring their petition to the chapter, we'd vote on it, and then they become initiated into our order.
Do you have a large group right now?
Right now we have about 125 members. A lot of them are based in Wilmington, and for one of our 100th anniversary things, we're going back to the Wilmington Lodge to meet there exactly 100 years to the day. So we're kind of excited about that. We have a big celebration coming up in January that's open to the public, and we hope that a lot of the Wilmington people will come to see that.
Certainly keep it in mind. Is there anything else you want to bring up at this time?
No, I think we pretty much covered it. We hope people are interested in coming. They're welcome to give me a call at home, and I can talk further with them about the organization.
Excellent. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye.
Okay, and my next guest is Terry LaBella. You're the president of the Wilmington Garden Club. Excellent.
I missed a meeting one day, and I became president, so that's how it usually happens in groups and organizations.
See what happens in
Yep,
this meeting?
I've been with the Garden Club, I think it's been 9 years now, maybe 10. So I have been a member for quite a long time, and I truly enjoy it. We are a pretty good-sized group in Wilmington. I think last count we had 67 members. We just inducted 2 new members in and have 3 more we hope to have join us. But we're always looking for new members and new individuals to come to the club and join us. And we have, I'd say, probably 5 areas of interest in the club. First of all, these ladies, if you've gone to the Festival of Trees, or if you've seen their silver tea, or some of the functions that they do, these ladies are incredibly talented. They just have so much creativity and so much going on. But we do have civic beautification. Garden Club is responsible for the troughs and barrels that you see around town, and we do plant those in the spring and the fall. And I believe they've just been planted with the mums for the fall season, so that is always nice to see. We also do the library and the Arts Council Center, the wreaths at Christmas time, and we do some work on the 4th of July building and Hardin Tavern, which is always fun. And we have groups of people who like civic beautification. We have other groups who love floral design, and they take a big part in doing that type of work. And we have another group who does garden therapy for Sunbridge, and I think, is it Wilmington Woods, I think the other nursing home is? Woodbriar and Sunbridge, that's it. They keep changing their names on me, so I can't keep up with them. But we have a group of ladies who go to the nursing homes. They alternate months, and they'll do a little project with the residents at each nursing home, and they have as much fun, I think, as the residents do. We also have people who are interested in conservation, and that's a big part of the club for them. And speaking of conservation, I did bring something tonight, and many of you are very familiar with this. It is an inkjet printer. This one's from my HP computer, and 500,000 of these inkjet cartridges go into a landfill a day.
Wow.
500,000 of these fill up a landfill a day, spilling the whatever inks are left over with them, and I'm sure polluting ground. And the Garden Club has a wonderful way of dealing with that. When you take out your cartridge from your printer and you open the new box, you just put this back in the little plastic container, get one of these envelopes from Garden Club member, Rapid Reproduction on Church Street has them, and Wilmington Insurance Agency on Middlesex Ave has them. Just a little mailing envelope. You toss that right in there. You take off this little tape, you close it, throw it in the mailbox, and you've just saved some of these cartridges going into the landfill.
Wow.
Easy as that. You don't have to address it. It's already barcoded for the Wilmington Guard Club. It really is a big help. It's easy to do, and the Garden Club does get back some money on it. We get anywhere from, I think, 35 cents to $1, depending on the type of cartridge that they receive. So you're not only helping save some recycling, you're also helping the Garden Club build their coffers a little bit so we can put bigger and better flowers in the barrels and troughs. Also in town, if there's any business in town that would like to have, this comes in a nice little box container where you can just pull the envelopes out. Right. If there's any small business in town, or if you work somewhere where your company uses a lot of these and you would like a really good-sized pack of them, you could give Joyce Turner a call at 978-657-6488, or you can give myself a call at 978-657-3805, and we'd be more than happy to, to provide you with these. What else do we do? Festival of Trees. Oh, it's Christmas already. Isn't that scary?
Yeah,
So
it's right
scary.
around the corner.
It really is frightening, but my ladies are already hard at work. As a matter of fact, our October meeting, we are going to be creating some of the ornaments for our big Festival of Trees at the Arts Council Center in, it's the same weekend as the lighting. I think it's December 6th, 7th, or 8th, 7th, 8th, or 9th. It's that first weekend when they light the lights on the town common, and the church has its choir and bell ringers. Well, the Garden Club has their Festival of Trees over at the Arts Council Center, and I hope that you all will join us. And one last thing is that, any business, Arts Council, the Festival of Trees is created or is made up of a lot of organizations who decorate a tree. The Garden Club has the biggest, I'm sorry. We started it, so we get to have the biggest tree. But Rotary takes part in it. The Wilmington Pet Center here in town does a wonderful tree every year. The kids, you guys do a tree. I was very impressed last year with your tree.
Set that up.
And it's a lot of fun, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's really our gift to the community to maybe start off the Christmas year, the Christmas season with a little bit of spirit. So if you have a business in town or a group or organization and you would like to take part in being in the Festival of Trees, again, just give me a call at 978-658-3805, and we'd be happy to send you the information. I think that's about it.
That's great, Terry. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much once again for, the other thing I can't say more than enough of is WCTV. Anybody out there who's thought about, picking up camera work and learning how to do this, it's the best buy in town. For $10, I think membership fee still is, isn't it?
For students, and then for regular individuals, it's $15.
15, it's gone. Well, the times are tough all over.
Yep.
But for $15, I don't think you can go anywhere where you can learn so much and have such a creative outlet available to you. So good luck with everything.
Thank you very much, Terry. You have a great evening. Thanks for keeping Wilmington so good looking with all the flowers and everything.
We try.
Excellent, excellent.
I don't know how it's happening that Rob gets everybody who's celebrating Christmas early. But I have right with me now the President of the Chamber of Commerce, Ray Forrest. Ray, welcome.
Thank you very much.
How is your organization doing?
We're doing well. We're looking for new members, as most organizations are. We currently have about 260 members who are active with the Wilmington Chamber of Commerce. And so it's a pretty large group. Most of them are Wilmington residents. And we have several people who are with firms located in Wilmington who are active in the chamber and serve on the board of directors, et cetera.
What are the primary activities of the chamber at this time?
Well, our activities are really broken down into two areas. One of them are the social things we do for the community, and the others are the things that we try to do for the members from a business sense, okay? And that is that when there are particular issues of importance to some business members, we will try to get information, help them educate themselves, try to get information to them concerning things such as the road work on Route 38 and things of that nature, which is a very touchy subject with a lot of business members now because it's taken so long, but hopefully it's going to finish here shortly. On the social end of things, we raise money for scholarships. We run golf tournaments. We just finished our golf tournament last Friday as a fundraiser. And this year in particular, we're doing something that is really exceptional, and the chamber was fortunate in the fact that Javi Waugh, who is with the Shriners, sits on our board of directors, and he came in contact with someone who indicated that the President's Marine Corps Band was going to be in the area, and they have to be sponsored, and one of the sponsors has to be a civic organization, so we were asked to sponsor that. And so the Marine Corps Band is going to be here in Wilmington, October 27th, 3 o'clock at the Shriners, and people who would be interested in attending that can contact the Wilmington Chamber of Commerce or the Shriners to get tickets. And one of the ways to get tickets, and I'm going to read this so I don't goof up the address, is that what they can do is send a self-addressed envelope to the Wilmington Chamber of Commerce, Post Office Box 463, Wilmington, Massachusetts, 01887, and there's a maximum limit of 4 tickets per request, okay? And so this is really quite a unique thing. They only come into an area periodically about every 5 years, so the next time they'll be in this general area will be in the year 2007, so it's a great opportunity.
Is there a fee or a donation requested for those tickets, Ray?
Neither. It's absolutely free, okay? And the band is organized to do it that way, okay?
That sounds very, very good. Tell me about the golf tournament. That just happened last week and you had some good weather.
No, I was not able to attend. I hear we had a good turnout, had great weather. A couple of years we had really poor weather, but I don't have who the winners were, that type of thing at this point in time.
Bragging rights will come out later.
That's right, and they usually do.
I'm sure, I'm sure. Okay, Ray, it was great having you here tonight. Is there anything else you wanted to bring up?
Just like to invite any businesses in Wilmington who would like to join the chamber. All I have to do is call the chamber number, which is 978-657-7211. We'd love to have them on board, have them become active, because the strength of an organization such as the chamber is really predicated by the number of active people you have participating in. And I would like to thank you for having me here this evening.
Thank you. It's been great having you. See you again.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, my next guest is Father Philip Early from St. Thomas's. He's no stranger to WCTV, being the co-host of Sharing Our Faith. How's it going tonight?
Very good. It's good to be here again.
Excellent, excellent. Glad to have you here. So you're with St. Thomas's Church, obviously.
Right, I am, and there's a lot going on at St. Thomas. We can even start with the structural part of it. As you may know from here in the community, we started a capital campaign a year or so ago, and we've done a number of projects already around the property. But now we're getting involved in the church, and I want to be clear to all the Catholics of St. Thomas Parish who might wander to other parishes during the summer because it's not air conditioned. Next summer will be air conditioning. They're starting that project right now. Hopefully by the end of this week we'll have all the permits from the town, and then the contractor is eager to begin putting a 30-ton unit on top of the roof plus 2 other units. So we'll be nice chilled out during Mass, which will be good.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Excellent.
I'll be looking forward to that.
Maybe even during Christmas Eve Mass, sometimes it gets hot up there.
It is. And that the ironic part is they're probably about just when the winter season begins, we'll probably have air conditioning in the church. So timing's everything.
Oh yeah, excellent, excellent. If I recall, there was a mission to the Appalachian Mountains to help the people out there. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. Each year since I've been in town, we've taken a group of people, parishioners, down to Appalachia, actually to Frakes, Kentucky, to Henderson Settlement. And again, it's a really good ecumenical effort, because Henderson Settlement is actually run by the Methodist Church. And so they have a summer work camp program that you can go down there, and people in a tri-county area in Kentucky and Tennessee can submit requests to have their homes done and rehabbed and so on. And so then you can pick it out. So this year we did one main project and one smaller project. The main project was this house had an addition on, but it had to be, we had to put in windows, doors, side it, put in electrical, the flooring, the ceiling, and so on. But the interesting part, we got there and nothing, the building itself was not level. So we had to get in, jack it all up and put in new supports to level off before we could even begin the siding.
Right.
Otherwise, it looked like drunken sailors did the whole
Yeah.
job. And so we did do that. And then another site, we also did put a roof on a deck and also a handicap ramp, the chap did that. So that was good. But we do other things besides that around. I mean, for example, this month coming up, each month we try to have some sort of outreach project. During the early part of September, we collected school bags and stuff for the inner city kids, and I dropped those off over in Lower Roxbury with parishioners. And now this month we'll be collecting clothes for St. Francis Home on Boylston Street in Boston. It's a homeless shelter for adults, and they can get a number of different services there. But they're in desperate need of clothing, so we publish the list in the bulletin, and then people can come and bring it in. And so we try and do one of those things each month. There's a recognition that the call of the gospel to reach out to our brothers and sisters goes beyond just the confines of the church. It's a larger community and ultimately to the world. So you like to bring that home. Another thing that's kind of interesting we're doing this year is we finally published a ministry directory.
Oh, wow.
Now, for those of you who, ministry might sound like something that just a priest does. Actually, it's just a church word that means it's the official work of the church, something that's recognized by the church. And so we put together this ministry booklet of all the different opportunities for people in the parish, how they could volunteer in it. And so we finally got that all together. So now anyone who wants to know, can I help out? We just say, here, go through this. We could use your help, and so on. So we have that out. So I'm just really glad to get that project underway too. So we seem to be moving along.
Seems like you have a very busy year at St. Thomas's.
Yeah, I think we do. We do have a lot of things on the agenda. The parish council is coming up with a new 5-year plan that we'll be talking about with new goals and to increase adult education. We still need to do more outreach to our youth and so on. So there's many areas we can still move ahead in. We've made great progress in the past 3 years, but the task isn't done yet. There's still I think it was Kierkegaard said that there's no such thing as a Christian, but rather as you're always becoming a Christian. And I think that's what we are doing. We're always becoming a better parish. We're always becoming a better Christian through all these improving efforts. So that's what we're up to.
Excellent, excellent. Now, you mentioned youth outreach. What sort of outreach do you do?
Well, again, right now we do everything. We've done the soup kitchens in Lowell. We've done we help out charities. We have in December we have the collect things for babies, layettes and so on. In fact, hopefully we can collect some for Bridges Home in Lowell, which is a Catholic Charities project, because a lot of the young women in there don't have enough clothing for their children and things like that. So we'll reach out to those projects. Of course, we always do the food pantry here in town and things of that nature too. And we also provide in conjunction with the food pantry here in town, where they can get some dry staples and so on. We provide food vouchers. We don't give out cash, but vouchers to Market Basket. And I must admit, I just had to write another check today, get more of them. We're going through those. Because the issue of food is a major issue, not only in this town, but if you look at, I just had a meeting in Boston today, and they're talking at all the food pantries, there's a greater demand for that. And at the same time, many of these food pantries are at an all-time low in terms of stocks. And so the efforts, whether you're in the, St. Thomas or one of the other churches here in town, if they collect food, by all means give, or if you see any other way, because it's desperately needed, with people getting unemployed and, trying to find, make ends meet.
That's right. Everyone needs some help sometimes.
We do, indeed. So that's about where we are. And then, of course, we always have our traditional programs on of, religious education. We still have over 1,300 kids in religious ed, so and so on. So we still have all that going. We still have our marriage prep programs going, the baptismal prep programs going, all that stuff. So, but the outreach to the elderly and so on. So we seem to be, doing things.
You guys definitely are doing things. Anything you'd like to say in closing?
Just again, just to know to any Roman Catholic or anyone else in town, you're always welcome. Hope you always feel that there's a seat at the table for you at St. Thomas. That's our role. That's our goal. Is to the Lord God loves you and we love you too. So come on down.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Father Early.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
No problem at all. Have a great night. You're welcome.
I now have an opportunity to introduce you to two members of the Friendship Masonic Lodge. And the first one is Bob Bishop, and he is the master, and also his associate, Ted Moran. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Elizabeth.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Bob, why don't you start off and tell us something about your organization?
The Masonic Organization, Rosemary, is probably one of the oldest and probably one of the more famous organizations in the world. We go back in Freemasonry back basically to the 17th century, when it started in the United States. And we have very distinguished past members of the Masonic Organization. I'll give you a very brief history. George Washington, Benjamin Franklin.
A few names we recognize.
A few names you recognize. We also, I believe we have it up on the teleprompter too, there's some more names. Trent Lott, John Glenn, Buzz Aldrin. And these are some of the more famous. The listing is endless of Masonic, famous Masonic people that have belonged to Masonry, of which 12 presidents of the United States were Masons.
I see.
And basically the Masonic Organization, we have a very simple creed, if you want to call it that. It's friendship, morality, and brotherly love. And we try and instill that upon all the membership, and in particular, our new candidates coming into the Masonic Organization.
Is your lodge made up of members just from Wilmington?
No, we have, our membership really spreads across the country now because we have a membership of roughly 160 members, of which age groups go anywhere from in the 90s down to 30 years old. And some of our older members have moved out of the Wilmington area and have settled California, Florida, Georgia. So we have a very diverse membership.
And what are your current activities?
Well, our current activities right now, there's one I want to turn over to Ted to talk about, but we have a nice chicken barbecue coming up on October 5th, which I hope everyone will attend. And before I turn this over to Ted regarding one very important program, I want to invite any of your viewers, if you're interested in talking to us about Freemasonry and what Freemasonry is about and what our organization is about, there is a telephone number on the screen that you can call, and I will personally talk to you about what Freemasonry is all about. Right now, I'd like to allude to one program that was developed by the Grand Lodge of Massachusetts in Boston, and it's called our CHIP program, which stands for Childhood Identification Program. And in light of the events that have taken place across this country recently, this program, we feel, is the most comprehensive program put together to identify and help identify children. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to our senior warden, Ted Moran, to our past chairman of the CHIP program, to give us a little bit of detail on what's involved.
Okay, and because you're tall, you may hold the microphone.
Oh, all right. The CHIP program is a result of a Masonic, the fraternity's compassion for children. Extends not just from this local lodge, but to the shrine. Every shrine out in the world is a Mason. The Scottish Rite, the York Rite, many different Masonic bodies, the Eastern Star, who you talked with earlier, we're all from the Masonic background. And all of our work goes towards children in one way, shape, or form. And as Bob alluded to, that what we're hearing more and more frequently in the news about children missing, being abducted, getting lost. Someone in Massachusetts has come up with a very comprehensive program. He is a Mason. And it's in 3 parts. It is recognized by the FBI as the most comprehensive childhood identification program in the world. And it's sponsored by the Massachusetts Police Officers Association, the Grand Lodge of Massachusetts, and the American Dental Society. What it is, it's three basic components. The first component is a child will come in with their parents or guardian or other adult in their life that brings them in, and they get fingerprinted, which is a basic process. Then they move from the fingerprinting station and they get a newly developed program of this tooth print. And what the tooth print happens, a child puts a heated wafer, very low temperature but heated wafer, a dentist puts it into the child's mouth and the child bites down on it. And that tooth print can be used for identification, which is somewhat of a morbid way of thinking about it. But what has happened is that we have also discovered that this tooth print, you're leaving behind a DNA sample. And that DNA sample has a protein in it, which tracking dogs can track for many years after that imprint. So, Boy Scouts. If Boy Scouts are on a hike and one gets lost, I don't mean to pick on the Boy Scouts, your cameraman's a Boy Scout, but I was thinking about him. If a child gets lost and he has gone through this chip program and his parents have that dental imprint, a dog can track that. It's better than an old sock or an old shoe. It is the child's scent. And it's very, very strong, and it lasts for quite a long time. So you have that dental imprint with the scent on it and the saliva and the DNA sample. Now, of course, the child loses his teeth, so that the imprint changes, but the saliva remains. And then the third component, which is what the Masons are most proud of, what they really developed on their own, is a videotaping. And what we do is we videotape a child standing in front of a height chart, and a person, grandmother, grandfather type person would interview this child. We found that's the best method, the best demographic, if you will, because it puts the child at ease. And we ask a series of about 20 questions. What do they like to do? What games do they like to play? If they were playing hide and seek in the neighborhood, where would they go hide? If they were feeling a little troubled, where would they go just to be alone? Questions like that. And it's amazing, but there are some stories that have come out of this, some success stories of families finding children that have run away and ended up at that arcade 2 towns away that they indicated on their videotape they like to go. There have been some very famous stories here in Massachusetts. Molly Bish disappeared, and I'm sure we've all seen her picture on the TV, the beautiful blonde girl, that still picture. Well, now with these videotapes and with the spokespeople like the Bishes, they're champions of our cause, the videotapes are now available. If people want to come in and have their child done from any age up to 18, we certainly suggest children 6, 7 years old come in, come back when they're 8, come back when they're 10. The videotaping captures their hair, their mannerisms, the way they talk, the way they stand. And someone like Molly Bish, had we been watching her little 5 or 6 minute videotape, seen maybe a little bit more about her, who knows, she may have been found. And that's kind of what the Bishes realized, that this is something that really captures the essence of what the child is like, rather than a still photo or a school picture. So we Masons are very, very proud of this program. We've done almost 150,000 children in the state. There are 9 events taking place this weekend alone, all across the state. You can go to the website, it's very easy, it's mychip.org, mychip.org, and it'll list all the sites. It's free of charge. The family just comes in and signs a consent form, which allows us to take a videotape. But the family goes home with everything in a plastic bag. We recently went to Disney World, my family, back in August, and we reluctantly took those kits with us. I have 2 teenage boys, but who knows? Who knows? Someone could get lost, and there was a story from Disney World of a family that got, a 4-year-old got lost. She had the videotape, and Disney played it throughout the park on their monitors, and the child was found on the It's a Small World ride, going around without any adult supervision. So there is some great success stories. So the DNA sample and the tooth imprint, you know, those are things that families have to understand what they're there for. But the videotaping and the fingerprinting, and then the community awareness. The police officers are there, the fire department is there. And we have this event taking place at our lodge on October 5th. And it's going to be a good event. Last time we did it, I think we did 218 children. We don't want to turn anyone away. There are thousands of children to be done here in Wilmington, and as you heard Father Early mention a few minutes ago, there's 1,300 children in his Catholic education program. So there are thousands of children in Wilmington to be done. It happens all across the state, so if someone can't make October 5th, they can go onto that website and travel anywhere to get it done. If they have had it done, especially when we did it last year, bring it back. Bring the videotape back, we'll add to it. As I tell parents when we're doing this, it makes a great thing to look back on, because the questions are kind of, they can be humorous if you listen to the way the child answers the questions. But it is a nice keepsake for the family, but it is a very important product that we are very, very proud of. And very proud to offer at no cost to the families or to the community. It's all done out of our charity, which is what Masons are all about.
That is some excellent information. Thank you for sharing that. Amazing, the amount of work that you've done and what you've accomplished already with it, and I wish you the best of luck with it going forward.
Thank you.
You're right. Parents don't want to think about it, but it needs to be thought about.
It needs, and people, when they show up and they hear about it, everyone's on their cell phone, standing in line, calling their aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, neighbors, come down. This is amazing, because once they get there and they see how it's run, we all follow a blueprint, but they see really the impact of what it can do for a family. No one wants to think about that. We never want to think of that happening in Wilmington. But my son brought home a memo from the Wilmington Middle School on Tuesday that said a 10-year-old child, there was a attempted abduction here in Wilmington. So it's happening all around us. It's not only abductions, kids are running away, kids are going away with youth groups, getting lost. So the chances are just greater that a family should have this. We don't ever want to see it used, but if it is used, we'll feel very proud if it worked for a very positive outcome.
Thank you very much for that information. What else is going on?
Well, one thing I wanted to mention, that Ted had already mentioned about the Shrine Hospitals. These are hospitals located nationwide. The Shrine Hospital is a Masonic organization. Every child that goes to the Shrine Hospital, for whatever reason, there is no charge for any medical care. And these are some of the finest doctors in the world that are on staff at the Shrine Hospital. And in particular, the Shrine Burn Institute in Boston, which I'm sure most of your viewing audience is familiar with. And that's part of the benevolency of our organization.
And how can a community help you in your fundraising? Are you in college?
We develop, I had mentioned to Rosemary earlier that she's going to be in trouble here because we're both salespeople. But mainly we have fundraising activities at the lodge. We also have annual dues at the lodge. So we really take care of the financial aspect of Masonry. We are a nonprofit organization. But we do obviously need funds to continue the work that we're doing, the charitable work we're doing in the town of Wilmington, as well as surrounding communities. And speaking of surrounding communities, there is a Masonic lodge virtually in every community in the state of Massachusetts, as well as almost every town in the United States. So it is an amazing statistic. It is. And one of the two items that I wanted to mention to you before we close is, number one is the total Masonic organization. The largest givers, they give over $2 million per day to charitable organizations nationwide. And also we are, in the state of Massachusetts, the largest organizer of blood drives in the state of Massachusetts for the American Red Cross. So we have an organization we're very, very proud of. And again, I invite anyone that's interested in Freemasonry, please call the number that's on your screen, talk to us, come on down on a Monday night. We rehearse our rituals every Monday night, and I would love to talk to anyone about joining our organization.
Excellent. That's a very good invitation, a very warm one. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Rose.
Good night.
Thank you very much.
Hello, everybody. We're back, and with me is Bud Gleason and Ann Rich from the Wilmington Kiwanis Organization. How are you doing, Bud?
Very well, thank you, sir. You?
I'm doing all right. And Miss Rich, how's it going?
Good.
Excellent. Excellent. So, what can you guys tell us about the Wilmington Kiwanis Organization? Like, how did it get started?
Well, our founder was a man named E. Hayward Bliss in 1967, and he believed in the principles of Kiwanis, and he started the club then. And from that, we have grown.
Excellent, excellent. Now, how does someone join the Kiwanis Organization?
They can give my husband a call. He's the secretary, and the number is 978-658-5568, or just come to one of our meetings. We meet the second and third Mondays at 7 o'clock in the evening at Rocco's.
Oh, okay, great, great. And what sort of events do you guys sponsor? I see you have bicycle helmets.
Well, this is one of our biggies, is our Family Safety Day, the bicycle rodeo. I think everyone in town knows about it, and they've heard about it. And we sell the helmets there for kids who don't have helmets. And we also sell the helmets all year round at the fire department. They sell them for us. They're very nominally priced, cheaper than you can get them in most department stores unless they're having a sale. And these are a higher quality helmet.
Yes, they are.
They're a very high quality helmet. These are Bells. We've switched from Protective Industry to Bell because these are very colorful. You can see Bud has one of the girls' child helmets.
Oh, yep.
And they even have a ponytail holder built in.
I don't need it,
but and this is a boy's youth, which is for age 8 and up. And these are strictly bicycle helmets. We're hoping this year to get some all sports helmets, which are good for rollerblading and skateboarding things, especially with the new skateboard park being developed here in town.
Right.
So this is one of our big concerns, is childhood safety.
Very good cause, as a matter of fact.
And another thing on childhood safety that we do in relation with the police department, you can hold this up, I don't think anyone can make it out, is our child safety sticker that goes on the back of a infant or toddler seat in the car.
Okay.
And when there is an accident, in many cases, the parents are separated from the children. And if a child is 2 years old and they say, "What's your mother's name?" he's going to say, "Mommy."
Yeah, right, right.
So this has the name of the parent or the guardian and the name of another relative or someone who will take responsibility for the children or child, the name of the physician, and any medical history or special needs. So, and it goes on the back of the car seat. So if car seats are passed on, make sure you pull this off and get another one. And get them from the police department. They're having a car seat inspection this weekend, and they will be putting these on every car seat they inspect.
Wow. Wow. Excellent.
It's necessary.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, our club is, the international club itself is focused on the children.
Excellent.
We have a Kiwanis Pediatric Trauma Institute at the New England Medical Center in Boston.
Oh.
And it's made specifically to treat children. As much as people think that children are just little adults, they're not. They have differences. Their bodies work the same way, but they work differently at the same time. Right. These people know how to treat these children. They know how to help them when they need a trauma need. They know how to help them, and that's what our club supports that in Boston. They have tours that you can go around and see the place. And our children ourselves, we have what's called screening for kindergarten. Children going into kindergarten, they test their eyes. We donate our time to that. We do many things. We give out scholarships every year. They're $750 scholarships. What do we give out about?
We give out 6 between the high school and the tech, the Shawshing Tech.
Excellent.
And to raise money, we do one major fundraiser a year on the Wilmington Common on the 4th of July celebration. Ah, yes. We have a supplement that goes with the town crier every year.
This not only has all the bus routes and the listing of the events for the 4th of July week, who's putting on this supper, who's putting on that supper, but it's a big fundraiser because we sell the ads in it.
And that's our main goal, is to help the community as well as to support Quaynor-Quan's Pediatric Trauma courses, also to help the community where we can. We do volunteer things. We don't just do fundraising things, we do volunteer community efforts too. If someone has a project going on in town and we can lend a hand, we will do that. And playground, thank you. Go ahead. Oh, sorry.
We built the playground at Silver Lake,
Oh, cool.
and we've kept it, tried, despite the vandalism that's gone on, to keep it in good repair. And we have wanted to expand it, but we've had to use the money we had for expansion to repair the vandalism.
All right, no one vandalize that park. Don't vandalize it. It's not worth it.
And we also do things for the senior citizens. We have 2 dinners a year where they get together and enjoy each other's company and have a good meal. And we have, how to help me.
well, we also support the Camp 40 Acres program.
Oh, another good program.
Yeah, it's an excellent program for the kids. We support that. Sometimes we have cookouts for them or whatever that they need at the time, you know. We do that. And if anyone is interested in Kiwanis, why, give that phone number there and give you a call. Come to a meeting. We'll buy you supper. We won't make you pay for it. And what we'll do is we'll get a good idea of what our club is all about. It's just a family-orientated club. When we do our projects, our family is right there with us. They join up, and Ann's family, both she and her husband are in the club, and their sons have been with us, and my children have been with us. We all join in, and it gives the kids a lot of good memories. And that's another thing too, we are very family-orientated.
Well, family's important in this day and age.
Excellent. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, all right. Any closing statements or comments you'd like to give to the people of Wilmington?
Well, you're always welcome to our meetings. We have a real super meeting coming up on October 7th, where our speaker is going to be Lieutenant John Brown, who's going to talk about his experiences in New York down at Ground Zero. And if you want to come, you can give me a call, so we just make sure we have enough food. It's at Rocco's.
Yes, we like to eat.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we do like to eat. And everyone is welcome. Just let us know that you'll be coming. And
I'd like to thank the citizens of Wilmington for supporting us the way they have over the years. It's been priceless, and we appreciate it.
Well, you guys do good things for the community, so it's sort of one hand wash the other, you know.
Yeah.
It's always good. It's always good. Excellent. Well, Is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
That was my big thing. I wanted to thank the people of Wilmington for supporting us the way they have.
On behalf of the people of Wilmington, you're welcome, and on behalf of the people of Wilmington, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
No problem at all, Mr. Gleason. You have a great one. And Ms. Rich, take care. Take care. And have a great evening. Let me get that for you. There you go. Remember, kids, wear your helmets. You only get one head.
That's right.
Okay. You're welcome. You're welcome.
I now have the opportunity to introduce you to someone who doesn't need an introduction, the Chief of Police, Bernard Nally, and he's here tonight representing the Wilmington Family Counseling. Would you start off by telling us your title?
Well, I'm president of the Board of Directors this year. I've been on the board for quite some time now. And the Family Counseling is a nonprofit organization. It was started back in 1967 in Wilmington, and it was actually started by the Council of Churches originally. Since then has continued in continuous operation right up till today. We have the purpose of the family counseling is to provide counseling of any sort and type to residents of Wilmington. It may be counseling to the family as a whole. It may be counseling to children, maybe marriage issues, maybe behavioral problems with children, obedience problems, any number of things, including alcohol and drug-related issues that people need counseling for. And our own local agency provides this. Everything is done in the counseling specter is confidential, although run by the organization. I don't even know who they see, because that's not my business. But we have a professional staff. The director of the family counseling is a licensed psychologist. She has a doctorate in the area, and she's been with the agency now for around 30-something years. She's a great person, Carol Golub. And along with the other staff, she has a number of licensed psychologists and social workers and clinicians that are on staff available to do counseling for people that need it. Through the Board of Health, the town subsidizes the family counseling service for the residents of the town, so that the people that can't afford counseling, and we all know any kind of psychological counseling is very expensive normally. It is subsidized by the town to reduce the cost down as much as possible. And if people have insurance, that helps too. They can get coverage that way. And for those that don't have insurance, through the subsidized program, we have a very, very low starting rate for people that just can't afford it. Anywhere from around $10 to $15 an appointment, and then it's a sliding scale according to income and family size. So there aren't too many people that can't be serviced, and I'm sure we've serviced some that just couldn't afford it. But that's the purpose of it. The organization has a board of directors, almost all of whom are residents of the town, or they work in the town for various companies. Because it's a non-profit organization, as much as we get income from the insurance that people pay, have paid, and their own fees or whatever, we're still non-profit, and we still have financial problems. And like many of the other organizations you probably heard about in preceding me, we do fundraisers during the year. As a matter of fact, we do about 3 fundraisers during the year. And I'll put in a plug for the upcoming one. We have on November 3rd, which is a Sunday, and that's our food tasting festival.
Very popular.
I hope it is. We do a lot of work to get that going. We have about 12 restaurants that have agreed to participate this year. And last year we had somewhere around 300 attended, and we hope to top that this year. But if anybody's interested in going to that, we have tickets for sale, and they'll be for sale in a number of shops in town, where they can see any one of the board of directors or make a phone call to the counseling office and get some tickets. but it's going to be on a Sunday, November 3rd, I believe I said, and it's around 5 o'clock in the evening. It's going to be held at the Casa de Fiore. So all of your popular restaurants are going to be there, from both Wilmington and a few from out of town. And then we have a few other fundraising efforts we do, but all of which is designed to, whenever possible, keep the cost down for the things we're trying to do for the town. And it isn't only families and older people. A lot of times young children, young families need help, and they can find it there. So, and I'll jump to my next little thing that's a part of the family counseling, is the Wilmington Middle School Mentor Adventure. Carol Golub had asked me to speak about this one too, that she, in cooperation with the principal, Kate Conway of the middle school, have set up a mentoring program for 7th and 8th graders at the school. Now they've gone out and they've located, and fortunately, some 14 or 15 people that will act as mentors for the children. And these are designed so that children that are at somewhat risk of issues in school, not necessarily bad kids by any means, but just kids that may need some help. And once a week, from September through May, the mentors on a one-to-one basis will meet with the kids and have on a one-to-one conversation, do projects with them, or do whatever they need to do to provide some adult supervision to them, but on a small, close level. And we're very hopeful for this program that it will hopefully turn some kids around and get them back in the straight way and to go on to high school. So that's an ongoing program right now. There's been a lot of work done. It's been partially sponsored by the School Business Partnership, and there's various employees from various companies all over the town have agreed to participate and spend an hour to an hour and a half a week with some of these kids.
I've heard Dr. Golub and Kate Conway from the middle school discuss their plans and hopes for that project, and I hope that it does get off to a wonderful start.
It should be on its getting started at the end of the month, by the end of the month, and then we hope that people will stick with it.
Excellent.
And we've been very happy that we got the number of people that volunteered that we do have.
Excellent. That sounds like a nice way to start. Any other projects coming up now?
Well, of course, the police department always got projects, but we do ask for people's cooperation and help. Don't forget what 911 means. I'm going to put my police hat on now. Only use 911 when there is something serious to report to the police department, but by all means, if there's a need, use that phone and give us a call. One of the biggest complaints or problems we have, we get calls from people that say, oh, I didn't want to bother you. So they don't call for 10 minutes to a half an hour to 6 hours later for an event that happened, and then there's nothing we can do. So the biggest thing we can ask for people to do is give us a call right away, no matter what it is, and we'll determine later on if it's a good or bad tip that we might get.
I want to say thank you for wearing so many hats and being such an active member
Well,
of the
I need
community.
hats.
You do need hats, so you can identify which project you're on at the moment
That's
or
right.
which job you're doing.
That's right.
But it was wonderful talking with you, and thanks for sharing your time.
Thank you.
Good
Thanks,
night.
thanks for inviting me.
All right. My next two guests, Chuck Oberlin. How's it going?
Very good. Good to be here.
Excellent, excellent. And Father Philip Early's co-host on Sharing Our Faith, Ron Grimley.
I don't know about that. Doing well. Thanks, Ron.
Excellent, excellent. Good to see you. And you're with the First Baptist Church.
Yes, First Baptist in Wilmington. I've been there for almost 12 years now, and Chuck has been there about a month. We just hired Chuck as our associate pastor. So
Excellent.
About 12 years in Revere as a senior pastor there. We'll follow that up a little.
It's very good to be here. Families moved in, we've just gotten settled in, and we're looking forward to being in the Wilmington community very much.
Well, welcome to Wilmington.
Thank you.
You're welcome, you're welcome. And what sort of programs do you have at the First Baptist Church?
Wow, that's a wide open question, huh?
Yep.
Well, there's programs for all ages. We have our Sunday morning events with worship. We have nursery and junior church available. where during the sermon time especially, the ages 4 through 8 can head downstairs for a program on their own. We just hired a youth person from Gordon Conwell Seminary to work with our junior and senior highs. There's a bunch of home studies. We're trying to get out into the community as opposed to, why don't you all come to church? Let's get the church out in the community.
Hey, that's interesting.
And there are 6 or 7 home studies we have that are beginning to flourish now and bear a lot of fruit, which is good.
Excellent, excellent. And so Chuck, you're just getting all settled into Wilmington. What do you think so far?
Well, I have 3 kids that are going to school here, 2 in the high school and 1 in the Abundant Life Christian School, which is part of the church's ministry.
Right.
Grade school through grade 8. And I think we're going to enjoy the community, and I'm going to enjoy the work at the church very much.
Excellent, excellent. And yeah, as a matter of fact, the Abundant Life, they come by here and we teach them how to use the cameras and whatnot as well. Right, what can you tell us about the Abundant Life School?
Well, Patty Hobart, our grade school administrator, could really do a much more professional job than I could.
Right. Oh, all right, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. We have a preschool as well,
all right.
infant through pre-K, through preschool ages.
Right, right.
An excellent program, well-staffed. We have K through 8th grade as well. And it's the best of both worlds. We're able to provide the reading, writing, and arithmetic, as well as the spiritual values, and an excellent combination of that. There are about 162 K through 8th graders and about 100 preschoolers.
Wow, wow. Now, I won't really ask how to become a member because it's church, but how can the community help you guys out?
That's a good question. You want to tackle that one?
I'll defer to your experience.
Oh, okay.
It's not so much how can the community help us out. I would rephrase it, how can we help the community?
Oh, okay, cool.
And we're open for the community to let us know how we can help them.
All right.
And we're interested in, like the Wilmington Council of Churches as well, as to how can we have a very good, powerful influence in town. So we exist for the community does not exist for us.
Wow, that's very noble, very noble.
One of the things the church does is they sponsor Open Hearts Ministry, which is caring for some of the homeless in April. And they feed weekly up there. And perhaps you can,
We have a core group of 6 or 7 individuals that go to Haverhill every Sunday afternoon, and they serve a meal for about 80 individuals.
Right.
And it's a homeless situation, very difficult naturally.
Right.
They're not sure where they're going to get the next meal. We provide clothing as well. And we provide some spiritual nourishment.
Excellent.
So the combination of the mind, body, spirit to try to meet the needs of the whole person.
Right now, are there any programs outside of Wilmington that you guys contribute to besides the homeless shelter in Haverhill and whatnot?
Various missions organizations.
Right,
The church is involved in various missions around the world.
Very cool. Very cool. Helps make the world a smaller place, I guess, and lets us all know we're in it together. Are there any closing comments you'd like to?
No, I'd just like to reinforce with all the churches in town that, as I mentioned, I see our next presenters coming from St. Elizabeth's, that we're not an island. We want to be involved with the other churches in town. We want to be involved in the community to have a good positive influence on town.
Excellent, excellent. Chuck, any observations or last comments?
well, I'm looking forward to be here very much. I'm excited about the church and what they're doing, and what Ron has to say is very true. We really do want to be a part of the community, affecting people in the community and helping in any way we can.
Excellent. Well, thank you both. Thank you both. Take care.
Thank you.
Yep, I'll see you guys around. Excellent.
It's time to welcome representatives from St. Elizabeth's Church. And first of all, I'd like to introduce Father Joe Pino, Sarah Cosman, and Jeff Cranford. And perhaps you could tell me basically what your roles are before we start with the more formal parts of the conversation.
Well, I'm the rector of the parish, and I've been there about 4.5 years. I'll be celebrating my 5th anniversary this coming March.
All right, that sounds good. Sarah?
I'm chairman of the hospitality committee.
That sounds like a busy job.
It certainly is.
And Jeff?
And I'm the senior warden.
All right. Okay, now where is your church located?
We're at the corner of Forest and Aldrich. We're the small white church that's off of, or actually right on Aldrich Road.
know where that is.
Thank you.
Is it a well-hidden church normally?
It's a small church, and it seems no matter, I've been here 18 years, and I still meet people who say, oh, I didn't know that was a church, or I didn't know that was an Episcopal church. So obviously, we need to do everything we can to get the word out that we're there.
All right. And what is the size of your congregation now?
Weekly, we have about, on the average, about 60 or 70 people that attend the service. I think we have about 130 registered at the parish right now.
And that includes children, and you have children's programs, youth programs?
Jeff, I don't know if you want to say anything.
Just that we're expanding our youth ministry. We have a youth coordinator. His name is Jay Hosmer, and he's been a member of the parish for a long time. And he's just made tremendous strides with, the kids just went to Ground Zero, and the kids are planning another trip coming up. I can't remember where they're going next, but
King Richard's Fair.
King Richard's Fair.
King
So.
Richard's Fair. Yes.
All right. A good day trip for sure.
Yep.
And what is unique about your church, your St. Elizabeth's Church?
Well, that's one thing I always love responding to. I always like to share with people that I've been in the ministry 20 years, and this is the first time I've come to suburbia. I've been in inner city parishes for most of those 20 years, and I was sent out here by the bishop one Sunday to help out. They were in need of a priest to cover a Sunday, and I came out here. And when I left, I was absolutely enchanted, and more importantly, I was spiritually uplifted. And I always like to describe to people, it's just a matter of sitting there. There's a spiritual energy in the air. I often kid people at the parish and say, was this built on a Native American burial ground or something? But it's just kind of there in the air. And again, I was just so taken up with it. The bishop and I had a conversation the next day, and I didn't realize that they had a search process for a new pastor. And they actually called the bishop to find out about me. So we had a mutual reaction to one another. But I was just absolutely captivated by the community. I do want to add one other thing. Jeff mentioned that we certainly want to be known. We certainly want to know where people are. But part of the unique character of the parish, and again, being in big inner city parishes, I greatly appreciate this. There are small, middle-sized, and large parishes, and they all serve a purpose. But at St. Elizabeth's, we are purposely focused on creating intimacy and maintaining a small community. So while we're developing and while we're welcoming people, we acknowledge the great need we think there is today for creating small communities that have an intimate setting, particularly for the spiritual life. And that is something that St. Elizabeth's really knows well. And that's one of the reasons I'm there and very happy to be there with them.
Well, that sounds like a very good atmosphere. And can you describe some of the regular activities of your parish?
Sarah?
Well, we have many different things. We have weekly, we have prayer meetings, we have Bible study, we have a healing service, which is going on right now as we speak. There's our wonderful Sunday school program for our children. We have retreats that the parish will all participate in. We have wonderful coffee hours with social after church on Sunday, which is very important because we all get to meet one another and welcome new people to our parish. And it's really a very, as Joe has said, very spiritual, warming place. And I have been an Episcopalian all my life. It's certainly, and being from Wilmington, it is wonderful to have an Episcopal church in Wilmington, as it's always been a dream of my parents and myself to have a parish in Wilmington, and it's really fulfilled many people in the town that, are of this faith.
Sounds like there's a very nurturing atmosphere there also.
Yeah, and in terms of unique features, I just want to add one thing. I am by trade a family therapist and direct a family therapy program in Framingham part-time. And one of the things that I did with, again, with the interest and enthusiasm of the parish, I chose the three outstanding therapists that I have met in my 20-year career who happen to be in the general area. And they are on call. They're part of our resource team. Available to the parish, and a number of families and individuals in the parish have availed themselves of it. These therapists specialize in family therapy, depression, anxiety, and particularly with our children, children with special needs. And the parish has really availed themselves of these resources. And I always emphasize that the health of the community really depends on the health of the individual and the health of the family. And the parish at St. Elizabeth's has really availed themselves of these services. Yeah, we have a contract with them that if anybody from St. E's calls, they are to have an appointment within 48 hours. That's how I brought them
That's
on board.
amazing.
And
That
and
is
the, and the
amazing.
therapists have been pretty faithful to that, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that answers a great need. What are your upcoming events?
We have a church fair coming up in November.
Correct.
Yep.
And we have Founder's Day, which is St. Elizabeth Sunday in November also, and many things that are coming up.
Is your parish made up of people mainly from Wilmington, or is it a regional parish?
No, we say we're from Wilmington, Tewksbury, and beyond.
Oh, how nice is
We
that?
have people from Middleton, from very, all
Yeah,
over the
Billerica,
area.
Reading.
A little more widespread then.
Yeah, and also Everett. Yes, we have a family
And
from Everett.
Winchester.
That's right, yeah, yeah.
Do you have anything special coming up for the kids, or any youth groups?
Well,
that, meet?
actually, this Sunday, once a month, we have what we call the Children's Liturgy, Family Children's Liturgy, because our children have Sunday school, but the families were very interested in having, an entire liturgy with the children once a month. So the entire worship is geared towards the children. And as you know, the adults seem to appreciate it more than the kids.
Absolutely. Well, it often makes you reflect a little bit more, doesn't it?
It does.
When you get to the simple messages.
Exactly, that's it,
Mhm.
that's it. Yeah, so that'll be this coming Sunday. And as Sarah mentioned, St. E's was founded in the 80s. A small group of Episcopalians in Burlington were very interested in establishing a church that would serve both Wilmington and Tewksbury. So it was founded in the 80s, and most of the founders are still around and still with us. And they had a very particular focus in terms of spirituality, of what they wanted for the small, intimate setting. So once a year we celebrate that to remind ourselves of what that foundation is about, and to kind of check in to make sure that we're maintaining that focus for ourselves, yeah.
It's an important thing to do.
Yeah.
Are there any other topics you want to bring up at this time?
I do think we've covered it pretty well. I would add one more thing when we were talking about the unique qualities of the parish. When we first came to St. Elizabeth's, and we've been there about 17 years, within about 2 weeks, we were doing things. We were involved in committees, and we were active in the parish. And it's not one of these churches where you sort of feel like you have to be there for a generation before they'll let you do anything. If you're looking for a place where you can come and be needed and come and be wanted, St. Elizabeth's is a great place for that.
That's a very nice recommendation. Very, very nice. Any closing comments, Viola?
No, just thank you, for having us this evening. And the only other thing, having seen Ron here before us, I just want to say that I just find this entire community here in Wilmington absolutely delightful. We just had a memorial service at the Congregational Church. I'm serving this year as the president of the Wilmington Council of Churches. And the people in this town never cease to amaze me. It's a wonderful town. I've told friends about it. If you're looking for that village atmosphere, with a real true community, a sense of community, Wilmington has it. And I applaud all the members of Wilmington for that.
Well, that's excellent, and you're a wonderful part of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rosemary. That was lovely.
I know what TV station we're on.
Yep, it's WCTV, that's right. Well, Wilmington, that is our 2002 organization night. We've had a lot of great organizations here. I hope that, we've made you more aware of them. They're there to help you, and hopefully you're there to help them, whether you become a member or if you should just, contribute money, food, clothing to any sort of community organization, anything that helps out. I mean, you've seen people that help the homeless, that work for, children to keep them safe, or to help with like the Shriners and the Masonic Temple. And it's just good to give to those organizations. And what did you think?
I think it's very good. I noticed that the groups came to us to share their delight in what they're doing, and to let us know that it isn't just a donation that they need, but they are looking for you to share your skills and influence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you have some thank yous to do for
As a matter of fact, I do have some thank yous tonight. My first thank you definitely goes out to the Dunkin' Donuts in Wilmington on 195 Main Street next to Rocco's. They generously donated coffee, donuts, tea, hot water, sugar. They just wanted to make sure that we could, take care of all these people and be very hospitable. And because of their hospitality, they made us more hospitable to all these great organizations. And next, I'd like to thank the 3 cameramen here tonight. We have Mr. Richard Grinder, Mr. Jim Durkee, Mr. Walter Collins, all great volunteers here at WCTV. They're doing a great job. I'd like to thank my executive director, Ruth Kennedy. She's doing a great job doing graphics and helping John Maravellis direct. I believe we have Brian Gillespie doing audio back there in the control room, and I'd just like to thank all of them. And I'd like to thank you, Rosemary, for being such a great co-host.
It was fun.
This is my first time, so it's just, what a great time it's been. It was nice and easy, and I'm really glad I could be a part of it.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, Wilmington. Thanks for watching. Have a great night. And I'm sorry I forgot to thank 2 more people. I forgot to thank Stephen Rose and Donna Gasick, who actually had to leave early tonight because she wasn't feeling well. But yeah, Steve and Donna, thank you. They were greeting all of our wonderful guests that came in. And that's about it. So once again, Wilmington, good night. Bye-bye.